Welcome to Atmosfearic, where we will explore the creepiest corners of media. Tonight, we're kicking it off with introducing ourselves to you all and giving a baseline of our experiences with horror. I am Hifumi. I have been enjoying horror since I can even remember, and I'm joined here by Ciaran.
Hello. I actually recently got into horror like 10 years ago. So I used to be a little bitch.
I actually didn't know that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I used to be very scared of everything.
That was me as a kid. I was definitely afraid of everything, but I think I hit like some Stockholm stage where I watched enough horror stuff that it didn't bother me as much, and then I kind of
We're
grew a
just like, I know
tolerance.
this.
Exactly. But
So like horror, yeah, for me it was just I was scared all the way up until I was like 16, 17, and then I just started like liking horror media more and more.
it just kind of built up over time.
Yeah.
Now, was it
kind of like this?
was it from exposure to horror, or was it just kind of like a curiosity?
I feel like it was a little bit of both. And it was funny because the thing that got me to really explore horror more was my buddy showing me Madoka.
Like Madoka Magica?
Yes.
That's your breakthrough point is a magical girl anime?
Because of how messed up it was, something in my brain was just like, wait.
You know, that's fair. I think, you know what? That was actually probably one of the first anime that I watched that made me get into specifically horror anime, because I thought like, okay, I didn't ever think or consider the idea of horror-based anime, I think, before that.
Exactly.
And then I went down a rabbit hole. It was like, then I started watching Shiki and Another and all those other ones at Higurashi.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then you
like,
read Jinji Ito, and then you like did all this other stuff.
Then I read Jinji Ito and grew some weird appreciation for body horror, because that's kind of like a majority of everything he does is just kind of like freaky body stuff.
Exactly.
But that is exactly the kind of stuff that we will continue to talk about over the podcast. Is going to be a lot of stuff involving different discussions through different types of horror media, maybe some analysis. Maybe we'll even get some guests in the future to talk about different horror experiences, whether that's movies, books, manga, maybe shorts or anything that we can find that might be interesting to talk about. But I think it'd be a pretty good idea to talk about what was the first unless it was Madoka Magica, what was the very first like horror thing that ever like piqued your interest at all?
Piqued my interest. Okay, so my gosh, I have memories of specific things like seeing Signs in theater, and that was, I don't know what it was. That movie scared me, specifically just because I was young and I was like, "What the hell is going on here? Why is there a claw reaching under the door? This is bad."
I get that.
I remember. I think the very first like really big one for me was, and this isn't really horror. This is more like kind of thriller. You know the movie Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage?
Yes, I know it. I don't think I've seen it though.
How messed up it is. So it is. It's not a horror movie by any sense of the word. I went to go see that movie in theaters when I was like 6 or 8. So that was kind of where everything started to go more like I'm very curious about this weird stuff. And then I remember my cousin inviting me down to watch what he called the Mario movie.
Okay.
And instead was 13 Ghosts.
So he baited you.
When I was a kid, yes.
Okay.
And so I'm like, this is the Mario right here. Also, the Mario movie in general is just dumb.
True.
But no, 13 Ghosts, I think, if I were to really put it, like, I think 13 Ghosts had a really big impact. Honestly, because that movie is great.
I think
that movie's absolutely fantastic.
That one is definitely one of the ones that was pretty early in my journey, because my mom was like I don't want to call her a horror fan, but she sometimes gets like a morbid curiosity, and it's like, you know what, I'm gonna watch this. And so she sometimes would just kind of be like, to not be scared on her own, it would shoehorn me into watching it with her, even though I was like a child. just so that there was someone else there watching. And so one of the first movies that she dragged me into watching was actually Poltergeist.
Ooh,
and I remember that movie messed me up because I literally remember watching that and the scene with the kid getting trapped in the television. I was like, I stayed at least like 20 feet from a TV at all times for like a week. I was like, I am not going into the television. This is not happening. I'm not becoming one of the ghost kids of the damn TV. And I don't think that really got me into horror as much as that kind of kept me away from it. I think the first one to actually get my attention was the original Final Destination.
So I did watch all the Final Destination movie, and I think same. Because movies like that kind of give you this brief look, right? There's no real jump scares. There's no real like terror factor to it. It's just a bunch of like a copious amount of death, pretty much. So it's introducing you to this side of media in a different way gradually.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you curious to be like, what other movies are like this? And then you have like Saw, the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into slashers, and then you get into more like spiritual stuff, and then you kind of like keep going down the rabbit hole until you've seen it all.
Yep. Yeah, I think Final Destination was the first one that I went out on my own, and it kind of got me into horror. And then my mom got me into, not that, I was going to say that my mom got me into supernatural horror, but Final Destination is technically also supernatural, but I mean like,
slightly, yeah.
A little bit more like on the demonic side or whatever. She got me into watch the original Exorcist. And that was a fun watch. However, it wasn't scary for me. I was like, I've seen so much worse already. But it did kind of open the door to me watching like eventually the Conjuring movies, those like haunting of whatever houses like movies and stuff like that. Yeah, all those different ones that are just different haunting ones. Zombie movies I was always into because I never found them scary. Instead, I always just saw myself as like what if I was in that situation? I wouldn't die in that situation. Like, I'd be better than that. Like those were never scary to me. But like, yeah, I gradually got into a little bit of everything. The only movies she didn't like watching was slashers, really, because those freaked her out because she always imagined that happening to her. But I did end up eventually falling in love with Friday the 13th and Halloween. However, I didn't really enjoy stuff like Child's Play and Nightmare on Elm Street.
See, Nightmare on Elm Street's my favorite, hands down.
Really?
Child's Play was not scary at all to me. I was like, just punt him.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
He just goes flying with one kick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
No, Freddy, I think, stands out to me as my favorite slasher. I absolutely love his sense of humor, but also, as someone who suffers from like massive bouts of insomnia, not being able to sleep at all and being attacked in your dreams, that is one of the scariest concepts I could think of.
You know what? That's fair. I never like necessarily saw it as super scary, at least until I had my first bout with sleep paralysis. And then I was like, oh, like, but what if this isn't like conventional sleep paralysis and this is about to be some Nightmare on Elm Street type stuff? And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this might be a problem. But I didn't before that point, but then I was just, how terrifying and like viscerally unnerving it is to go through sleep paralysis. I kind of reopened my eyes a bit with the concept of like dream eaters and stuff. Because like,
it's a scary one. Like, because Michael Myers, creepy dude in a mask, I loved like the stalkerish kind of vibe, but dude in a mask with a knife, and kind of like, Jason's what, zombie, undead, unless you go to the first movie.
He's like a revenant, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of just like, I definitely think it goes for me, Freddy, Jason, Myers, if I were to pick, because I consider them the top three.
Mm-hmm.
I consider them like the top three of like classic slashers.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think like I would definitely put more so Friday the 13th on top, just because I like the old premise of it originally. I think it's, of course, looking back and in hindsight, it's kind of a little bit, overdone at this point, but originally it was a very fun time. Halloween I enjoyed. It was campy, yeah, quite literally, actually. And then Halloween I enjoyed because it's like, well, besides the weird ability for Michael, to some reason, survive almost everything on the planet. The idea of just like this irrational, unknowing entity that's trying to kill people is kind of like this kind of cool thing to me. The idea of the unknown is so appealing to me in a lot of horror. Like, the moment you humanize a villain, I seem to like care a little bit less. It's cool to have the backstory, but they lose a lot of their scare factor when you can empathize with why they're doing it. You know, like that's the flaw with like Jason, for instance, is it's like, oh, okay, you know, he was left for dead. His mom, you know, kind of drove him into the whole situation. It's kind of like a weird mom-son connection kind of thing. And it's like you have a reason, you have an understanding of like why he's doing it. But Michael's he's just evil, and that's just kind of it's such an interesting thing.
Pure evil, like he is 100% just the devil incarnate. I think call him the Antichrist in a few movies, if I remember rightly. Just they call him so many things.
Yeah, I think they did literally call him like evil incarnate too. Like,
and then the Rob Zombies movies kind of made it that whole thing with like the supernatural a bit.
Which
is kind of weird.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, that's why I like those a little bit more. Not that Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't have its strengths too, because that is definitely a terrifying concept. Because like it's like something we can't avoid. Like at least like the idea of like Jason, it's like, okay, don't go to the camp, right? Okay, the idea of Michael, just don't be in the man's path, easy. But like, you know, with like Freddy and stuff like that, it's like, you know, you never know, and then you fall asleep one day, and next thing you know, you're being murderalized in your sleep, and it's like, damn, you can't avoid going to sleep. Eventually, you're gonna fall asleep. So, yeah. it is a pretty terrifying thing. I will say though, the slashers got completely removed from like my top favorites the moments that I was introduced to Alien, because
I mean that's fair. That's
like Alien's so much higher than all of those to me because of the like. I think the aliens are cool. They look cool. They sound cool. The whole function of them is cool. Like I'm more of a fanboy of the aliens than I'm scared of them. I'm just like they're so freaking cool.
That's fair. I don't think the aliens are terrifying. I think conceptually they're amazing. I think that's more their thing. I don't think it was meant to really be as much horror, because even like the first movie was still kind of framed a little bit more like a Resident Evil kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And then the second one went straight up like, no, we gun these things down.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about the third one.
Yeah, it's more sci-fi thriller actiony kind of than it is horror outright, but of course being in the scenario is scary. Being hunted by something that's moving through the vents and can literally impregnate you and you won't even know about it. Like that's
no, thank you.
Yeah, that's horrifying to be in the situation, but I don't think it's as horrifying to witness. But that's why like what is it called? Alien Isolation is so horrifying because you actually have to be in the situation then.
One of the best games. One of the best horror games that's ever come out for AAA.
It is, and let alone from a studio that before that all they did was RTS and mobile games. And then they just whip out this freaking once in a lifetime horror game, and it's just like, what is this?
It's a hard pivot.
It is a very hard pivot, and apparently they're working on a sequel, and I'm both excited and scared at the same time.
So happy.
I'm not approaching that with the expectation of it being as enthralling as the first one, but I'm just hoping it's good.
No, I get that. I'm always skeptical of any sequel to anything.
I don't like having the expectation of something being as good as something else, because then I'm not giving it a fair shot right away. If I'm going into it and it ends up being not as good, but it's still a good game, I'll look at it like less than it is because of the initial expectation. So I'm just kind of like excited to see where it goes, but at the same time, like not trying to directly compare it to the first one, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. Because there's so many games out there that are good as standalones if you do not compare them to the prequel that followed them. Like for me, not pushing horror aside, for me the perfect example of that is Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 is a good action adventure game. It is a bad Dark Souls game.
That's true. That is true. That is very true.
That is how I describe Dark Souls 2. If it stands on its own, it doesn't have Dark Souls in front of its name, it's a good game.
Right. No, I get that. I completely get that one. That makes sense. That is actually, I never thought of comparing it like that. That is a very good idea. I'm hoping that it is good though, because I do know that they released, I think they released like a mobile game that took place like around the time frame of the first
they
Alien
released
ISO.
it?
I
Yeah,
thought it was
like
them?
you. It
Unless
was
it was
kind of
someone
like
else.
Five Nights at Freddy's vibe, where you like go, you look through the vents and the cameras.
Yep. Yep. That's I never played it, but I knew of it. I don't remember if they released it, if it was released by a third party, but I remember that originally that was being called a sequel, and people got mad about that. So I wonder if there's going to retcon it and be like that never happened.
I wouldn't be surprised because I don't remember it being from the same developers. Because if it was, it would have been a much bigger blowout. And you would have seen it everywhere when it came out.
I'm gonna look this up. I'm curious. Oh wait, is it actually just called Alien Isolation?
Is it?
Oh no, they just have Alien Isolation on mobile. Like the actual game is on Android.
That's actually kind of cool.
That's insane.
Well then.
I don't know what the other game's called to find it though. But that's cool. Yeah, they have it on iOS and Android. You could play Alien Isolation on it.
Okay, I think that's kind of cool.
Now I kind of want to get it though. I want to just sit on my couch and play some Alien Isolation on my phone.
Just see how it plays. Just be like, okay, my phone's on fire right now, but I'm scared shitless.
My fingers are literally red right now from the heat, but aliens. But oh my god. But how do you feel over time, like from your initial interest in horror? How have they like metamorphosized or like changed over the years? Like your tastes have like evolved and stuff like that. How do you feel with that?
So I feel like it started really slow because there are still some movies that I refuse to watch. There's still certain concepts I refuse to like deal with. Like I'm definitely one of those people where if you put The Grudge on, I'm not watching. I will not watch either Ju-on or The Grudge. I will not watch those. I was afraid to take a shower for a week.
You don't like the death growl?
I don't like the death growl. It's not the death growl. It's the hair.
Yep.
It's more the hair for me, like just coming out. Because like when you think of shadows and like a shadow in the corner of your room, oh no, that's not a shadow. That's just a bunch of fucking hair.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
So like the scene in the shower when she's like shampooing her hair and the hand comes out the back of her head. Fuck no, I'm done. But I think the thing for me with like horror where like I still have certain things that I'm like, I'm not going near. I just know for myself that my mentality can't do it because I will start to see it everywhere.
You'll start playing tricks on yourself?
Exactly. Because I have a very overactive imagination, which is a big thing for me to like keep me from exploring horror more frequently because my brain will start to go into overdrive and see everything. And I'm like, that's not good. But I think what I've really started to do is see where horror can be taken. Like, I love... Like, there's a lot of horror games. I play a lot of really stupid ones. But I like to see what direction people will go with it, even if it's bad. Even if it's the worst horror game, I want to see the direction they want it to go with. Whether it's goofy, whether it's, like, the same cliche done 20,000 times. I just want to see... It's kind of like a piece of art. I want to see where people are going to push it to. So I actually generally have a soft spot for mascot horror games because the evolution of mascot horror games has been fascinating to witness. To going back from Five Nights at Freddy's, Bendy and the Ink Machine, now to like Poppy Playtime, Garten of Banban, and recently Indigo Park.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of see where things have stayed connected and where things have kind of moved forward. And how each game has really implemented and improved upon that horror aspect or made it worse. It's just, I think that is where horror is for me. Even when I watch movies, or I really love like 8-minute short videos on YouTube. And I
like
love
the short horror
ARGs.
films?
Yes. And I love a good ARG. So... it's just cool to see where people are taking it. And I think that's my biggest fascination with horror is how far it's going to go and what concepts.
Yeah, I can actually get that entirely. I don't know why I'm like floating up into the air right now. Hello, I'm going adrift. But but I think that's pretty similar for me. I think like at this point watching or reading or playing anything horror related becomes more so seeing the art form itself than rather just like being scared or being interested in the topic, because I'm very interested to see how someone executes scares, the narrative, the designs of monsters or threats, the way they decide to do music and all that stuff is very interesting and creative. Like more recently, Ludo is really, really cool.
No spoilers, I have it on my list still. I'm
fair.
literally playing it here soon.
That is very fair, but they find really good ways to use the entirety of their screen in that, which is really cool. I enjoy that. You know, and then having like different mascot horror games, or like even asymmetric stuff, like even like Dead by Daylight and ways that they decided to do stuff. It's really interesting to see how they decide to implement and kind of represent horror in different ways. Like even recently them in Dead by Daylight releasing characters like Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul and stuff like that, and trying to make it creepy but interesting is kind of a cool idea, even if I'm not going to play the game anymore. But it's a cool thing to kind of see and kind of understand, I guess, the way that horror can evolve and adapt and how it can be seen under different light. And I think it's such an interesting device too to tell a narrative that doesn't have to be just, you know, I'm going to expedition information directly at your face, or deliver it through raw, uncut action, that it can actually be a little bit more slow burn and stuff. Like, I know recently I rewatched with some friends Longlegs, and that one is like, it's basically a slow burn movie. There's basically nothing that happens in that movie. It's just a lot of talking and silhouettes of demons in the background. But like, it is such an interesting film, and seeing someone like Nicolas Cage in it as one of the antagonists is also very interesting. Because I think it's honestly one of his best roles ever, and I'm kind of disappointed to some degree that that movie is not that doesn't have him in it a little bit more. I think he should have been in a couple more scenes, but it's executed really well. It's very artsy. It's the way it films and the way they even have stuff like hidden in almost every scene that has shadows in it. There's almost always the devil inside the shadows, and that's such a cool little like detail that you can miss but appreciate on future walkthroughs and stuff like that, watching it again. Like, I basically found myself watching it, which the most recent time was like my third time watching it. I just like I basically was playing like Spot the Devil. So while everyone else is watching it and being like, ooh, what's the plot? And ooh, this is creepy, I'm just there like, where are you? Where are you? I'm like looking through the scene, like, I gotta find him. I'm like, you're somewhere here, because it can be in the reflections, it could be in the shadows, it can be like, there could be like horns coming up behind somebody's head or something. Like, it was like such a cool little thing to just like experience it under a different light. And it made it differently creepy to me. Like, even though I knew what the plot was, it made like the scenes themselves seem so different now that I get to see them with like, oh, the devil was there the whole time. Like, that's such a cool, I guess, premise to me.
I will always prefer atmosphere and build up in a horror game. In any type of horror. Like, if you don't show me the monster until like the very end, perfect. I've known this thing is watching me like maybe shine their eyes or done a silhouette move or something and had some growling in the background to where I'm always on edge. That is always going to be, to me, a scarier experience than like, oh, here's a jump scare. Oh, this monster's been chasing you for 5 minutes. Are you sick of its face yet? Yes, I actually fucking am.
Yeah, that's why like I have such mixed feelings on Outlast, because the first Outlast I think is a masterpiece. The second Outlast is like, do you want to be in a chase sequence for 20 minutes and then yap for 5 minutes and then another 30 minutes of a chase sequence? Because that's basically what the second game is, which is really unfortunate.
Outlast 2 is, I don't know, it felt really short for me. It was really annoying, and I hate the ending. I thought was one of the stupidest things. I don't think I have anything really nice to say about that game.
It looked nice.
Yeah, it did. It was pretty.
And the lady with the like pickaxe thing was pretty cool. Whatever that
You're
weapon
saying
that
she's
was that
hot?
she had. Huh?
You're saying she's hot?
I mean, she did. Maybe a little, but you know. But like, yeah, I had such a big issue with the two of them because the first one, I feel like it encapsulates the idea of not knowing what's going to happen. Since a lot of like the inmates and stuff that you walk into, a lot of them are peaceful. They just sit there rambling about the itchiness in their head or something. But then like other ones will attack you, and that's horrifying. There's a lot of claustrophobic moments. There's a lot of chase sequences that are fun. There's the wall rider, which is such a freaking cool thing. But then you go into
first time Walker grabs you.
yes, uh-huh. And what's the doctor's name too? The surgeon.
Oh, I don't care. I hate him.
It wasn't Tager, was it?
It was, wasn't it?
It was like Tager or Traeger.
Like, Traeger. I think it was Traeger.
Yeah, like
it was like there's only 3 real antagonists. It was like Walker, the Doctor, and then the Wall Rider. Wasn't there? I don't remember there being like anything else.
Yeah, besides random inmates attacking you sometimes, I think that was really it. But yeah, then you go from that, which is a really good, and it has a mix of like all those different horror elements, and then you go into 2, and it's just chase sequences. I can't do nonstop action. I can't do constant jump scares. It does nothing for me, and it kind of changes into like an action piece of media at that point, and removes the horror. I like when the horror is more so from like, how do I explain it? It's more so from your own mind. It's like when they do stuff, and it's your imagination, your theory crafting, your own like tenseness from waiting for something to happen. That is the scariest thing about horror media. And when they have to like flash stuff in your face, it just immediately like takes it away from that. That's why like I think one of my favorite games in recent horror is honestly the Mortuary Assistant. Just because the majority of that game, nothing happens. You're just kind of like, oh, I'm fixing up a body or whatever, and then did it just look at me for a second? No. Just messing with my head, yeah. Like, and of course there is jump scares in that game, but like for the most part, it's like things you can miss. And I think the idea of missing something from happening is so much scarier than the idea of it being loudly in your face. Like,
oh yeah, getting like the after effect of like a puff of smoke behind you, like what?
How long was that there? What was that? You know, or like even like when you would see like the little white dude like crawling on top of something, and he would turn around and he would skitter away, and then you'd just be like, how long was he there? Like, I was working on this body for like 5 minutes. Like, was he just there the whole time?
Was he just chilling behind me?
Yeah,
while I was embalming this body?
He's just sitting there eating some of my chips on the counter, like, and just vibing. But like that's horror for me. Like, I think that's like the biggest progression for me is like when I was younger, I craved the instant adrenaline rush. I craved the jump scares. I craved the orchestral amping up to the silence, to the something screaming or running in front of the camera after a 10-second delay. Like, that was definitely what I was into. But then as I got older and I watched more and more horror media, it's definitely down to the slow burn. The stuff that really makes me think, and I think that's, again, tangenting back to Longlegs, that movie, for the most part, is people yapping at you. But that movie is so good because it does a good job of stacking unease and on top of unease. And even when Longlegs himself is dealt with, the threat is not gone. And that's such an interesting, like, way to build the horror that you're never able to relax. The moment you think something is resolved, it's not. And that's such a cool thing, that this just evil will persist, and it's waiting in every corner, and you're gonna have to find it yourself. And that's such a cool thing.
Oh, yeah, when like it's still going on around you, even though like, oh, we think we're safe, and then you see something off the distance, like, no, we're still screwed. Just not for now.
Yeah, that is like the pinnacle of horror for me, is when a piece of media can really play with your imagination more so than just like spelling it out to you. Like, if you give me a movie that is like 40 minutes of couples making out, 10 minutes of someone saying, don't go to this town, you're gonna die, and then they go there anyways, and then just goes into immediately slasher mode, I'm not going to enjoy that movie as much as I'm going to enjoy something that is just from point one unnerving, and everything that you learn over the course of the movie makes you further unnerved, and that's going to be something more interesting to me. Like, what's another good one? Hereditary?
Hereditary is great.
Hereditary is one of my all-time favorite movies, and that's literally the same idea. The whole time you're just like, what is happening? And you're constantly trying to understand what's going on. Is there something demonic going on? What's this with the grandmother? And you're trying to build the story up with yourself. And as you're doing it, you're constantly being pulled around through the unease that the family is being pulled through. And you're not able to kind of just like concrete and ground yourself. And it's such a good implementation of horror, I think. Its atmosphere is amazing. And the cast is also stellar.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for me with horror games as well. It's kind of the anti-jump scare moment, is I think the best way to describe it. Where a sound plays, and of course, you're forced to look at it. You're like, oh, that was that. And in your brain, if you're someone who's played horror, if you're not someone who's played horror or you use the horror concept, you're not going to think this. You're just going to turn right back around. But if you are someone who's used to horror, you're going to slowly turn around. Because you know that majority of the time, something's about to jump at you, but then nothing's there. And you just keep walking. That moment there is scarier than something jumping at my face.
Yeah. Yep. It's like, I remember one time, I forget what movie I was watching. I think maybe it was, no, it wasn't The Ring. It was something else. I was watching some kind of horror movie, and I remember that they did some kind of like build up to a scare where like the lights were flickering, and then nothing happened. There was no scare. They didn't do anything. They didn't execute on it. That was it. The light flickered, and that's just creepy, and it's just like whatever. But because I'm just like, I was so tense and I was so ready for something to happen, someone actually turned on my hallway light to just walk through the house, and I jumped because I was like, it's in the house with me. I hate this. I was just like, no. And then immediately I saw like my mom or something, and I was just like, oh, okay. All right.
Fine.
Okay, unless. But it's like those kind of moments are so good. I like the build up and the tension, and then like when they leave you like, for better lack of a word, like edged. It's good.
It's terrible. It's the worst because then, especially in like a good horror game, like in a good indie horror game, I think a good one I liked a lot was called Abandoned Souls. And you don't really see a lot in that. It's all noise. It's all noise and atmosphere. And there's so many noises behind you, monsters growling, and they'll slam something. And I always hate the like triple threat where they throw something behind you, you then look forward, nothing's happened yet, you check back behind you again, and then when you turn around, there's something there.
Yep.
Not making any noise, just like sitting somewhere, and you're just like, wait, why are you there? Or like you see like the flickering eyes for like a split second, then they disappear.
Yep.
You don't need noise to tell me I'm screwed.
Yep. It's like what game did I play recently? What was it called? I'm forgetting the name of it. It's the game that's based on Skinamarink. That's also a Spot the Difference game. Captured. In Captured, there's anomalies that might try to kill you, and they all have gimmicks to kind of spook you and kill you. But there's one that you have nothing. No, there's no harm to it. It's just there to freak you out, and it's just a shadow that peeks around the corner, and just looks at you until you notice it. And I remember like walking down the hallway and being like, "Is the anomaly gonna spawn?" And I'm like, "I guess not." And then I turned around and it just quickly went back around the corner, and I immediately just stopped. I think I paused the game for a second. I was just like, "What?" I'm like, "Am I in danger?" I don't know if I'm in danger, but it didn't have a sound or anything. It just kind of dipped away, and that was so much scarier than if it played a sound. And another, I mean, I guess this has a sound with it, but I know like it's not a horror game, but BioShock has a scare in it that messed me up because you had to walk to an end of a hallway to get one of those audio phone like recordings. And as I'm picking it up and listening to the recording, I'm like, okay, all right, lore, yeah, all right, cool. And then I just turn around and there's just a splicer silently standing behind me. And I immediately screamed. It just stared at me, and then I started swinging wildly. And then it started like a fight. Take the wrench. Yep. And they did the scare again in BioShock Infinite. They did the exact same thing. They made you walk to the end of the hallway. You picked up an audio log, but instead of it being a normal splicer, you had one of the choir boys standing behind you. And so then it duded at you, and then it scared you because it made loud noise. But
it duded at you.
Yeah, but like that is like messed me up. Like the BioShock is a great example of like a game that's not a horror game, but it does a lot of those horror tropes that are really, really good, and a lot of them are very quiet, very tension built, very like stacked on like multiple things happening, and then they finally pay off instead of just constant in your face action. Like nothing makes me eye roll more than booting up an indie horror game and you just jump scare me the first chance you get, and then I turn around and you jump scare me again, and I'm just like, dude. And like it maybe gets me the first time, but then I know your tricks. I know what you're gonna do. Okay, it's one of these games,
like
and now it's not gonna get me anymore.
Like, oh.
Yeah, it's like you blew
those are the worst.
You blew your load prematurely, and now I'm prepared for everything else that's gonna happen. You have nothing to keep me guessing. Which is unfortunate, and that's why it's been really hard for me to play a lot of indie games lately, because I feel like a lot of them have been like that. That I've played recently have just been kind of like a quick, let's like build up tension and then just like jump scare you, and it doesn't really do anything else. Obviously barring spoilers, Ludo, surprisingly different. That one's very good. It's very reminiscent of
I heard someone describe it as PT meets Stanley Parable.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
I was immediately addicted. Like the moment I saw that, it was already in my wish list. The moment I heard that, I was like, I'm buying it.
Yep.
I'm not watching any videos. I'm buying this now.
It has a narrator that's like saying everything that you're doing in it, and he sounds almost like the dude from Stanley Parable.
Oh, that's insane.
And in the meantime, creepy stuff's happening, but you just got a dude that's just calmly talking to you. He's just going, and then he picks up, and then he went into this room and he just picked up the thing across the room, and like depending on what you do, changes things a bit. And it's a really nice thing. It has a good narrative that I would say like is on par with like what is that name? It's not a horror game. The Edith Finch game.
Oh,
you know that?
What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah, it's got like a narrative styling like that, while having a narrator that's like Stanley Parable. Even makes fun of you and stuff like that too, which is funny.
Oh, that's great. I'm gonna love it.
But then the horror is kind of like I don't know if you ever got around to playing Visage.
Yeah, so that's what it looked like to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the first two parts, like the first two chapters.
Same.
I don't really care for the last ones. I think it definitely, in my opinion, went downhill after the second part, which is really, really sad to me.
I think part of that is because they stopped focusing on the house. Like everything started becoming more surreal. You started going to like other locations.
Yeah, you went out to like a hospital and like all this other stuff, and no, the house was terrifying. Like figuring out what's going on, I was like, okay, cool, because before that, the best game that was close to it was Layers of Fear.
Right. Yep.
And then like Layers of Fear is fantastic, and it didn't overstay its welcome. Like I think Layers of Fear is a good like one sitting game. I think with how long Visage was, I think it overstayed its welcome and could have honestly been done in half the time.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me was just like it was like the leaving the house part. Like I think a better way to tell that same narrative would have been doing like instead of, if you wanted to have different environments, instead of having let's go to the hospital or let's go to somewhere else, just make it the house at different points of time. And so maybe the house is decorated and looks like it's from the 70s in one timeline, and it's 2010 in the next, and then it's 1942 or something in another one, and like it kind of just looks different. Maybe the architecture is different, the decor is different, or maybe the room layouts are a little bit different because they keep changing the house. I think that would have been a more interesting way to do it than let's just go like every other indie horror on the market and do some kind of surreal trip where we're going into 97 different environments. Because like what was so terrifying was that you were moving through these threads of the plot while procedurally generated scares were happening. And so you were always on your toes, and it was always different. And even when I watched scares that other people experienced, I encountered them in different ways, or at different times, or different things. And that was very interesting to have. But the moment you take me away and plot me into a scripted environment, I kind of know what's going to happen.
It kind of ruins it. Yeah. Like, I will admit, like, the best moment in that game to me, if we're going with scripted moments, was the treehouse.
Yes. Yep. Right.
I loved the
That's in
treehouse
part
moment.
one, I think.
That's one of the best moments in the game, in my personal opinion, and had me shaking. And then after that, it just kind of was like, oh, okay, you're just gonna, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the boards and stuff being all like ripped away and doing all the creepy stuff, and the radio getting all distorted, and the red light and all that was such a well orchestrated moment. And then they just kind of, yeah, I think what you said is a good one. They kind of overstayed its welcome after subsequent chapters.
Yeah, that's something a lot of games do, right? Is they think that they need to make this long. Oh, I need to make an 8-hour horror game. No, a good horror game can be done in like 2 to 4 hours. I think that's a really good length if you want to talk to me about a long horror experience. Not like Resident Evil or something like that, because games like that should be longer because they do have a bigger plot to play and more gameplay. A nice little horror experience, I think 2 to 4 hours, like tops.
Mm-hmm.
And the perfect example I would think of, like recent surreal horror, Mouthwashing.
Yes. Yes.
I absolutely love that game. And I think the way they did just like the tension, the storytelling, the narrative, and going to the different environments that were out of place, but they were so out of place yet so in the proper setting.
Right. Yeah.
That it felt still so well connected as you unravel this twisted fucking story.
Twisted story that is told completely out of order. But then you're kind of like also sitting there, kind of always trying to piece it together too. And at the moment you start to get a thread, you're like, oh wait, they're giving me another one. And you're like, wait a minute. It was so. That one is truly a masterpiece as well. It's a little hard. It's a hard story for sure to consume, but it is certainly an enjoyable one. Very bleak, that's for sure. I know that much, but it was a very good game, and
Definitely.
I didn't know anything about it. Apparently, like it got kickstarted and everything, and I'm like, I had no idea this game existed, and then it dropped, and it just was wildfire. Everybody just was talking about it. Everybody was playing it. I mean, people are still making fan art of it, and I'm like, it's like a freaking hour and a half experience, and people are still sitting here like,
I love seeing it.
They're still just like, yeah, look at these characters, look at this thing, and I'm just like, I mean, I say that, but then people do that with like Undertale too, but you know.
Yeah. Those are the kind of horror games I look for. Those are the hot kind of horror games that I see and I'm like, where are you going with this? Shipwreck 64, Indigo Park. I'm excited to see where Giggleland continues to go because the demo is, I still need to play it, but apparently did a great job at showing what the game's going to be like. And the ARG they have going on alongside of it is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very interested to see where things will go in the near future. And there's a couple like big like AAA horror games actually coming out soon too. So that's kind of like one thing I've been excited for. Not that I'm usually like a big AAA. Oh my god, AAA is the best thing ever. But like, it's nice to see because I feel like we've been kind of in a dry spell from like AAA titles. It's been just a lot of like, you know, it's basically been like 2 years of just indie titles. I can't really think of like the last AAA horror game to come out recently, like at all. That was at least that was successful. The last one I think of is that what is it called, Callisto Protocol, and that was not quite it. I mean, I guess if you count the Dead Space remake, I guess, but it's nice to see like Silent Hill F coming out, Resident Evil's next installment 2 coming out. Those are going to be games that I'm going to play like day one. I'm going to be right on top of that for sure. What got your attention?
Hi.
Okay.
I've seen your mouth move, and I'm just like, you good?
Yeah, I don't know. Discord things, and it took me a second to reconnect to Discord. So that's you know, that's a fun edit moment there.
I mean, that's fine. That'll just literally be like, you're gonna literally have me do this, like you muted, and then just be like technical difficulty.
Yeah. What was the last thing you heard?
We had just finished talking about I was talking about how I like to see where things are going. I was talking about like wanting to see new monsters and things that other people hadn't seen before.
Okay. I mean, the last
And
thing
then,
I said was that I'm excited to see more of the AAA stuff, and then I mentioned Silent Hill F, as well as
I didn't hear any of that.
Resident Evil 9 coming out over the horizon, and how excited I am to see that, because
Chronos the New Dawn.
that too. Yeah, there's been a lot. I was saying how like there was a big drought of AAA horror. Not to say that, you know, like AAA is up to the standard it used to be, but it's nice to see AAA studios producing games, because it's been mostly indie. And mind you, indie's been killing it, but I'd like to see more of these AAA franchises and attempts at making these franchises become prevalent again.
100%.
It's been a while. Like I want to see Fatal Frame as well. I need a new Fatal Frame in like modern graphics, 4K graphics, Fatal Frame, making me have to take pictures of ghosts. I need that in my veins.
That would be terrifying. I think the thing that really kind of kicked AAA horror back a few was Callisto Protocol.
That's I did mention that.
Because
yep.
That game came out and it just kind of like immediately, it was so weird. It immediately halted any horror that was being made on the AAA side because it was performed so poorly.
Yes, it did.
And well, now we've got like the new Telltale game. What's that one? The one in space. I can't remember the name of it. I don't play those games.
The one in space.
Yeah, I think it's from the same Dark Pictures.
Oh, not Telltale then. Yeah, that's I
mean,
a different company.
Games.
The style, yeah, it's super massive. Fuck, I forget the name of it. I don't remember it.
Yeah, so you've got that one coming
Directive
out. You've got
8020?
Yes, Directive something. Directive something with an 8.
Yeah, Directive 8020, yeah. I looked it up.
So there's that one coming out. There's Chronos the New Dawn, which is Bloober's first original IP since their Silent Hill 2 remaster, which was solid and amazing. We're getting a Silent Hill 1 remaster. We're also going to be getting Silent Hill F at the end of September. We're getting so many things now. And I'm really hoping we keep seeing more of these narrative-driven, like, story games from AAA studios. Because I feel like we're getting to a point where just gaming in general, I'm seeing a lot more, like, story-based games coming out.
Yes.
And I want that. I want that.
Same. I also, like, have a love-hate relationship with gaming right now, because I feel like another kind of area we're in is just, like, remake the episode. Like, it's just, like, everything is just, like, do you guys want to see a remake? And like, we're on one hand, I'm like, okay, we got like Silent Hill 2 remake, right? And we got all the Resident Evils up to 4 remake, and there's talks of 5 right now, and that's great. I love 5, that.
So I'm not going to say anything bad about that.
Yeah, but like, as much as that's like a great thing, it's also so fatiguing, because every time someone makes an announcement, I'm like expecting something new, and then they go, yeah, so what if we remade this? And I'm just like, can we just like, now if they do the twofold attack, if they go like for the Resident Evil route, where they're like, oh, well, we're working on Resident Evil 5, but also here's Resident Evil 9, then I fuck with that. Yeah, the same with what else also recently did that? Persona was like Persona 6, but also Persona 4 remake. And so I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, that Silent Hill released like 5 different projects they were working on all at once. Like, oh, here you go. Here's all these teasers for things. And we're like, oh, okay. You guys have been quiet and dead for years.
I mean, they lost their greatest director. So they kind of felt lost for a bit there, but they're back. They're back, and they're doing pretty good. I think the Silent Hill's been kind of hit or miss, but Silent Hill 2 is definitely fun. I like the idea that Silent Hill F is
kind of different.
It's a little bit different. It kind of has, you know, I don't like using this terminology, but other people are. Souls-like mechanics, because it has dodging and parrying and all that kind of stuff in it, which is pretty interesting.
They added that to Resident Evil. You can congratulations, you can dodge. That's not what it sounds like. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are using, but for the sake of clarity and not needing to over-explain.
Dark Souls of Silent Hill games.
Yeah, it's the survival horror Dark Souls. But
Oh
like,
no.
but I think it's cool. They seem like they want to expand the melee system and add some interesting mechanics, so it's not just like get hits or swing. So
Well, yeah,
that's
when you look at
nice.
Downpour and Homecoming, they did get a little bit more action centric in it, with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the different combos and how things worked.
Mm-hmm.
This game is definitely going to be kind of a make or break,
It is, yeah.
which is what I'm concerned for, but I'm hopefully optimistic because everything I have seen about it looks terrifying. Like
Yes.
from any teaser I have seen, like the trailer they released looks terrifying, which is what I've always liked about Silent Hill over Resident Evil.
Yes.
Is Silent Hill has always been more that just like absolutely grotesque and terrifying kind of styling.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's also in the nature of it because like Resident Evil's appeal mostly is just like the body horror kind of aspect of it. When it comes to horror, but Silent Hill, is touching all those darker topics, the symbolism, the environmental storytelling is big. Like I don't think Resident Evil wouldn't really call it an environmentally like storytelling game. Like yeah, they have good settings that match whatever narrative they're going for, but the environment
It's more
isn't
direct.
necessarily. Yeah, it's very direct. But then like Silent Hill is like that room you're in actually means something, and like this room itself might as well be a character. Like a lot of people I remember back in like early like game journalism and stuff like that described Silent Hill itself as a character because the complexity and the nature and the kind of intricacies of the town, it makes it quote unquote a character in its own right, which
Actually, very valid on that one.
it's fair. It's perfectly fair, and it's a character that metamorphosizes and changes based on the people that currently inhabit Silent Hill, and so that's such an interesting premise that I enjoy with that franchise. And like in recent games, like the freebie that they gave out on the PlayStation 5 or whatever, the messages one, that one was kind of like a tech demo. So that one's kind of like whatever. They released that really bad, probably AI generated interactive story.
What?
Did you not know about that one?
No, I thought it was. You talking about messages?
No. They released a like ARG/interactive story that released, I think it was either daily or weekly for a period of time.
I heard about it. I did not. I knew it was a thing. I did not realize it had come out because no one has said anything about it.
Yeah, it came out, and the acting was very rigid. That made people be like, okay, you didn't get the best actors you could have gotten. The script writing seemed like someone ran it through AI, which is highly possible since it was basically filmed and like created to be like a soap opera, and the story changed based on what people did. So people started thinking like maybe they did just run this through the AI filter, because why would they develop an entire complex game with multiple routes if people are only going to see the popular routes, right? And so it started, the further you got into it, the more the script didn't really make sense, and like even the interactions and the things that happened with the characters were weird. Like I remember there was at one point that a character like ran into the scene, did some kind of panicked movements, did like a weird kind of bark scream, and then ran away. And it was just like, and everyone else in the scene just kind of looked at him and then looked back at each other and then just kept talking. And I was like, we're not going to talk about whatever that was that just happened. I'm like, you're not going to question that guy might need help, that he's insane, anything. You're just okay. And like, that was a horrible shit show, but it was fun to watch because it was community driven. And I think the idea, that premise of having a thing that in mass the community can decide the way the narrative goes is really ambitious and really cool. But in execution, it was really, really bad. And then, the messages game was more or less a tech demo to show off the latest engine that they were going to use for Silent Hill 2. So that's kind of like whatever. So Silent Hill F is going to be like the big, it is whether Silent Hill is going to have a future or not. I mean, there's still technically other games coming out too, because they announced the asymmetric horror game, and which I'm not looking forward to that, but go off. And I think they said there's going to be a co-op game and also Silent Hill F. But I think Silent Hill F will really decide if like Konami has a
It'll
future
decide their
with Silent Hill.
future. Yeah, it'll 100% decide whether or not this game belongs in the current landscape of games.
Yes.
It'll show whether or not this is something they can pursue, and if this does go a certain way, we're going to see more Silent Hill. If it goes the other way, we will probably never see another Silent Hill, if at all, in like the next 5 to 10 years.
I'm hopeful though, only because so far with Resident Evil and with Silent Hill, Neo Bards has been doing an exceptional job. Well, besides RE3 remake, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. That is a whole other conversation that I, as a Resident Evil diehard, could absolutely tear apart. But
RE3 rant incoming.
Yeah. Oh, I'm you don't understand. I'm fighting demons right now. Like, imagine a demonic possession right now, but instead it's like my RE nerd coming out, and it's like just glasses. Like, let me talk about why Resident Evil 3 remake is the worst remake ever. Oh God, the devil on my shoulder. There it is.
Do it.
I can't. Where's the angel? Where's the angel? Oh.
Do it.
Wait a minute. That's not how it's supposed to be at all. Oh my God. But like, yeah, besides besides RE3, like RE2 was great. RE4 was great. I think didn't they do Silent Hill 2 as well? I think.
Did they?
I forget if it was them or someone else.
Silent Hill 2 for who you're talking about, the studio that did it?
Yeah.
The remake for 2 was by Bluebird.
Oh, okay. That was Bluebird. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
so
why.
Not that one, but...
That's why I'm excited for Chronos New Dawn, is because that's their first original IP since they did that remake, and it looks like it's going to be more of like a sci-fi kind of Silent Hill. So we might have a new Dead Space on our hands, or
that's true.
We might have another Callisto Protocol on our hands. It goes 2 ways.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm cautiously excited. I think the biggest thing with Silent Hill F is gonna be, is it clunky? Are you gonna get frustrated because the combat is clunky? Because like, and you can argue, well, that's the identity of Silent Hill and like Resident Evil now. Aren't the games traditionally clunky? But they're clunky because of the time they came out in, right? That they were limited by their tech. It's not because that's the core identity of those games. So I don't want it to be a clunky experience. Now, that being said, I don't think I should be able to mollywop every single monster that comes into my path. There should definitely be things that either are going to absolutely destroy me, or maybe even enemies that I can't beat to begin with. Like, and there needs to be some level of powerlessness that I need to feel. Like, if I just feel like a god in Silent Hill, it's not going to feel like Silent Hill. It's one thing to feel like a god in Resident Evil because it's kind of an action horror series. So, like,
yeah.
It has a mix and it comes and goes between the horror and the action. Punching a boulder and, drop kicking giant insects, things like that are like things that happen in Resident Evil. But that's not Silent Hill. Silent Hill is just people thrown into Silent Hill, going through the trauma, and you're helpless to it. And they're terrified, and they're not probably good at actually fighting. That being said, I am very interested in the protagonist, because apparently the weapons that are in the game are not just going to be like baseball bat and pipe. They're actually going to have a bunch of traditional Japanese weapons, which I think I saw.
Okay.
I think I saw a bow. I saw a naginata. I saw a katana. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm assuming that the character is going to have some kind of disciplined background in using those weapons, so that she's kind of okay with it. Because I feel like you don't just pick up a bow and suddenly become, Katniss. So I think that it's going to be one of those things where she probably has some kind of like, her family's very traditional, and therefore, they taught her how to use some of these things a bit. It's not her main thing, but like a bit. And so maybe it'll touch into kind of
some knowledge of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going to touch into something to do with her story too, as to why she can do it. Because I don't think you can just throw a katana at a random Japanese person. They're just going to be like, yes, I know what to do. Like, it's probably going to be like, there's probably some trauma or something about the pressures of her family with the high expectations. And I think that's going to be very interesting to see. And I think that's also really interesting to see the narrative of it being like more modern. I think is
It's
really
gonna be
nice too.
crazy to see how they tell the story for that, especially in like classic Silent Hill fashion with all the notes and like the landmarks and everything that they do. Flashbacks, the monsters also being related to what your character's going through or the inhabitants are going through. That's what's gonna be like, oh, Silent Hill has returned to form, but just in a better light. That's gonna be really important, is how they tell this story and shape this world. And that's
Yeah,
what I'm most excited for.
that's gonna be interesting, and I'm hoping that it has its own clear identity and they don't try to live too much in the shadow of previous Silent Hill games, because it seems like they're going a different way. So I hope they don't do like something like, oh, why is this Silent Hill event happening in Japan? Oh, because I don't know, Harry Mason traveled to Japan and something followed him with him, and then it happened.
Harry!
Like, I'd be like, damn it! Like, I hope that they genuinely, you know, have their own reason for. I assume they're just going to be like, Silent Hill can form anywhere that there's trauma, because like Silent Hill itself, if I remember correctly, the plot reason that it happened is essentially Alessa making a deal with the devil, essentially. And so if that's the case, then that can happen anywhere. There could be a million quote unquote Silent Hills, which is kind of an interesting premise. But I also don't know, if it's going to be just focused on this girl, or if everybody around her going to be affected by this too.
I feel like it needs to have multiple characters. I feel like it needs to.
I think it does. I think it does, but I think it'd be really interesting if they made it so that only those characters are able to process what's happening. So you'll have violent cuts in from "we are in Horrorland" to "everyone's looking at me because I'm panicking on the ground and nothing's happening." I think that'd be pretty fun.
That'd be pretty ridiculous. Definitely a little bit listed. And it would be one of those types of horrors where you're just like, oh god, what's real, what's not real? Not this game again.
I would be so down with that if she keeps like fluctuating between, because that's also a premise in Silent Hill, is that there's like 3 worlds. You got the other world, you got the dark world, and you got the town itself. So it'd be cool if like, not everyone's affected by it, and maybe there's a reason why she's affected by it. I know a lot of Japanese mythology and stuff like that, a lot of the times it has to do with like individualized curses or hexes upon individual people. So it could just be that people are being affected in a town, but not everybody's being affected by what's happening, because not all of them have this curse or hex upon them.
Or this guilt or this trauma.
Or
experience the torment that is required to witness this.
And it's also a good conduit for them to, since they said that they felt Silent Hill had veered very far off from being your conventional Japanese story, which I'm like, was it ever? I'm like, it always took place in America, so like it never was, but I digress. It creates a situation where they could tell a lot more narratives that are a lot more regionally like specific, because this is where they can.
I just got a scary thought.
What?
Assassin's Creed, but Silent Hill.
Well, thank you for coming to the podcast. My God. Absolutely not. My God.
Next, we're going to Egypt.
Next
Rome.
Yep. Next time we're going to Rome, and then we're going to South Africa. Then we're going, to South America. Then we're going to Australia. Look forward to it. It's like, oh my God. I think
you don't even need to put Silent Hill in Australia. It's scary enough.
Yeah, I mean, you just look in your freaking bathroom and there's a spider the size of your face on your wall. But yeah, I'm excited to see the AAA, like where they go, because there's a lot of promising returning faces, as well as some new ones coming up from established studios. Of course, I still always keep an eye on indie stuff too, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit fatigued from a lot of indie titles. But especially like the Fears to Fathom games, I'm kind of a little kind of tired of kind of that deal. Yeah. The same with the Dark Pictures anthology and stuff like that. I'm kind of in and out of, because
I need them to just keep it like this is a monster. I need them to keep it supernatural, not some bullshit of like, oh, there's gas, oh, it's all in your head.
Oh, you had a concussion. Yeah, you had a concussion. Yeah. Keep the monster, keep the thing going on.
It's one of my least favorite cop-outs of an ending to a horror movie ever. Or just horror experience ever is, it was all in your mind. Like, oh yeah, go fuck yourself.
It's even worse when they double down. Well, not double down, where they say like, oh, okay, it's all in your head, and the character goes like, it was just a dream, and then they leave, and then like you see like the shadow of something move by the camera, and I'm just like, I roll so hard. I'm just like, oh please, man. I'm like, just let
What
things
was it?
be what they were. Like Little Hope was such a
Yeah.
pain because of that, and Man of Medan.
Little Hope hurt.
Yeah.
Little Hope freaking hurt. I think I played Man of Medan was the only one I played. The moment I got to that ending, I was like, I'm never touching another one of these. If this is the route they're gonna go. I was like, I can't do this. This is terrible because I saw it coming. I saw it coming the moment you got on the ship, and I was just like, I hate this.
Like, I think it's okay that they semi went that route with Man of Medan because they did establish immediately that there was some kind of weird gas on the ship. So like, yeah, okay, sure, but it would have been more interesting if, yeah, they're hallucinating, but also something's happening, and they can't distinguish between what's the hallucination and what's actually the haunting. I think would have been a lot more interesting than just flat out being like, yeah, you're hallucinating. And then the other ones that did actually happen, like House of Ashes, The Quarry, all of those games that did actually happen, their issues were, I think they had bloated casts and didn't flesh out everybody or just threw people to the curb, as well as like, I don't think that company knows how to end a narrative, and the ending is always atrocious. I don't think, no matter which game it is, no matter which one we're talking about, they're all really bad endings. The best one was House of Ashes because it just kind of ended with like a mind fuck and then was just like, all right, we're good. But the rest of them were just like either, yeah, it's all in your head, or you have no idea what happened to everybody. And it's just like, I'm like, they need to hire somebody who just specifically like excels at endings or something. I don't know what's going on here. And I think it's because they're too focused on having different routes, quote unquote. But I think there's a way that you can create an ending that intersects all of those endings together and then gives you a flavor with it. Like Until Dawn is a great example. The parent of all of this is such a great example because that game ends exactly the same. But
no matter what.
You get those little,
like
you get the
slightest things.
Yeah, you get the slightest differences, who's at the final sequence, how the flow of it goes, and then you get the testimonials at the end, where they all get to talk and they have different opinions on different things that happened, based upon decisions. Like sometimes the characters are all friends, sometimes they hate each other because of the actions that they did on top of the mountain, and like the different characters are there or not there because of dying. That was such a masterpiece of a game. And then they just have not been able to create that spark again. And I think it's because they're being too ambitious with trying to make an ending that's so broadly accepts different aspects of the endings. And it just, like, I can't, I'm so mad. The Quarry. The Quarry, my favorite out of all of them. They ditched half the characters halfway into it and said, fuck these guys, I don't care about them anymore. And then at the very end, what's the ending? The same no matter what you do. And then you don't get in testimonials, you get some freaking weird podcast thing, and they don't even like have any insight into what happened because they're outside of the story. So it's all these characters just going like, I heard this happened. Well, I heard this happen. And I'm like, I don't care about what you heard. I want to know what happened to them. Half of these people are werewolves now, half of them aren't. Like, these two people disappeared into the woods, after this incident. Who knows what happened to them? I'm like, tell me what happened to them. I really want to know what happened to them.
Have them literally pop up on screen and tell me.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
And the most you get is the little slideshow that goes, so-and-so died to werewolf. So-and-so died because they got shot. So-and-so escaped. So-and-so became a werewolf. So-and-so became a werewolf. And that's like, that's the most you get. And I'm just like, and that's like basically all these Dark Picture games in a nutshell. And I'm just like, they really need to just like, I think the biggest mistake that they had is trying to make an anthology. I think they really should have just been like, we are making another game in the style of Until Dawn. And then just full development into it and not have this lofty ambition of making 27 games.
My biggest thing with these games is they overthink them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and a lot of creatives in general do this. A lot of people in general do this when like, you're faced with a puzzle, you're faced with a story, you're faced with an art piece, you're faced with something. And instead of going to the quickest route and like just going like a straight line, here's my narrative, and then writing the full narrative and branching off from that, you overthink every section.
Yeah.
You overthink, like, okay, so here we are. Okay, so here's a place where it can branch. Let's write all the branches. Okay, let's continue the story from all of these branches.
Right.
No, they are not just. They should write the cohesive narrative all the way through to everything. And they'd be like, okay, where can we kind of branch off from these where the characters split up, Scooby-Doo style? That's fine. Have them do their own parts and then converge back on the main timeline.
Right.
That's how it should be. That is always how a lot of things should be. Is just go with your base idea and trust the process.
Yes.
Is I think what a lot of people don't do these days, especially with games, especially with story writing, especially with almost a lot of things these days. People don't just trust the process of what they're doing and just trying to make all of this crazy crap.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on the foundation, which is the most important part to anything.
That's true. I think that's a big issue with indies too, because like I think a lot of those like horror slops that end up being like it just becomes like a frantic mess is probably done from the same idea. They might just be sitting there going like, okay, it's been like 10 minutes since my last jump scare. I guess I need to throw a jump scare in. Like, it's like they just overthink what they need to do rather than just kind of writing the actual narrative and the points that they've actually created to create that nice flow. Instead, they're just kind of like, oh, well, it's been exactly 2 minutes, 15 seconds since my last jump scare. So I need to bait a jump scare. And then exactly 1 minute after that, jump scare. Like,
I need to make a noise.
Yeah, it's like you don't
noise.
You don't need to. You don't. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I could tear this game apart for my own grievances, but a decent game that just kind of builds on tension that a lot of people enjoyed. I was kind of mixed on it. Was the Blair Witch game that came out a couple of years ago?
The one with the dog, right?
Yeah, because that game is just a walking sim, but like. It's the idea of like what's gonna happen, how it's going. Your dog kind of doing stuff kind of throws you off, and like, you know, you're worried for the dog's safety, you're worried for your safety, and it does a really good job of kind of coupling and unifying these ideas. But it doesn't do too much with it. You're not constantly getting jump scared. It's not like that trend that happened like a year or two ago where everybody was making the don't talk too loud or don't scream games, right?
Oh my god! Yeah, I can't do those. Just my talking voice in general is loud. I could not do those, and I don't think there's much to them aside from like just don't scream or talk too loudly. Okay, I'll mute my microphone for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So the only reason that it's like anything good is specifically if you are somebody who either is a scaredy cat and is going to make those noises, or B is doing it for the content. But at that point, it's
and
like,
you overreact at literally everything.
Yeah, you overreact to literally everything. Like for me, if I played it and I genuinely played it and I played it on the stream, the only time I'd ever die,
the quickest thing.
the only time I'd ever die is because maybe I said something too loud or something. That's gonna be it. Otherwise, it would just be like me not being scared, not screaming, not making any loud noises, getting to the objective and calling it a day. And it would be the most uninteresting thing. And that's why I never jumped on that bandwagon, because I'm just like, I'm not reactive like that. And when I'm scared, when I get scared IRL by anything, horror games, people, whatever it is,
you're quiet.
I'm quiet and I go into survival fight or flight mode. That is my response. It's not scream and let everybody know I'm scared. It's literally like hands up, I'm ready to start swinging at whatever the fuck just scared me. Like that's my reaction. So my reaction isn't going to be something that's tangible in a reaction setting unless something really gets me. But even then, it's going to be more so you're going to see like you would see more of you would see like flailing and stuff. You would see like an actual physical reaction to me playing. Like me getting startled in a horror game isn't me going ah. It's literally me shaking my camera aggressively and then continuing doing what I'm doing is usually my reaction, and then just probably like swearing and being like, oh fuck, that was crazy or something like that. That's about it. Like you're not gonna get me screaming. So those games never would work on me, but like for a while that just kind of seemed like that's where horror was going, and I was like, please don't.
I'm very happy it didn't.
Yeah,
to be honest though, like I would never be able to finish those games. I probably wouldn't make it like the first jump scare because I do scream. I do have that like visceral loud reaction. Even if it's stupid, I don't know why. If I'm startled, like there's something I'm gonna just scream. you and I have the exact opposite reactions where I'm just like ah, and then I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, no,
like,
I go
immediately just go back to like I'm fine.
Yeah, I go into a protective stance of some kind. If I'm gaming, it's kind of like a the reason why my camera shakes. I believe I think it's the same thing. Like if you watch me play Hunt Showdown, my camera will sometimes shake when I'm either shooting or I'm getting shot at, and it's not necessarily that I'm like terrified or whatever. It's because my brain goes, I'm in danger. You need to move away from the danger immediately. And so when I get jump scared, huh? What was that?
Do you kick your desk?
No, I do not. It's all hand reactions. It's all hands. Because my brain goes, you need to turn around. And so my camera like corrects it, but then my brain immediately starts processing what I saw, and I go, I'm not actually in danger. And so mid movement of my camera shaking of trying to relocate where I am, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm probably okay. And so then my camera realigns. And so that's usually what ends up happening.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I have seen that where you half turn. You like quarter turn and then you go right back.
Yeah. It happens in Hunt too. I'll take a shot and then you'll see me like jolt a little bit. And that's because I start moving. Like maybe if I move, I won't get shot in return because my hitbox will change from where I was when I took the shot. And then I notice that they haven't shot me yet, so then I realign the shot again. And so like I'm
dead on the ground.
I mean, as long as you served as a distraction and we win, good topic.
I'm bait. I play it well.
Just running with a baseball bat. But like that's my reaction. I wish that I had more of a visceral reaction, because that's definitely more content heavy. Like people definitely enjoy seeing someone like scream and be freaked out by something and, you know, hesitant to go into something. But instead you watch me play a horror game and it's like, oh, something creepy just went into that room. Let's go check it out. And then I just run into the room. Like I'm like seeking the scares. I'm like those dumbass characters in horror movies when I play horror games that are like, what was that? Let's go check it out, guys. And then that's me. But like instead I'm like an excited like golden retriever. My tail's wagging. I'm like flailing back and forth. I'm like, well, let's see how this game decides to scare me rather than being actually scared from the game. The only time that rule is broken is when a game is really slow burn and I'm on edge waiting for the first jump scare, or B,
and it never comes.
And it never comes, or B, home invasion. I fucking hate home invasion. That's my thing. You hate The Grudge, home invasion. Anytime like the
That's fair.
What the hell was the name of the Strangers? The Strangers. That movie freaks me out.
That movie, very well done. That's a great movie. That is a fantastic movie.
Like that format bothers me so much because I'm so more affected by like something that I could be in that situation and I can't as rationally create a solution for. Like the supernatural stuff, I'm just not going to go to the abandoned building everybody tells me not to go to. Like, I'm not going to be there in the first place, you know?
I'm the idiot that goes to it.
Yeah, like, there's like some like, you know, serial killer that's in this area, just so you know, that the place that you're vacationing, well, I'm not gonna be there.
I'm not doing that one. I'm not doing that one.
Like I'm just not gonna be there. But a home invasion thing, that can happen to anyone at any time. You could just get a random group of 5 people who just decide, fuck it, we hate our neighbor for some reason. They never spoke to us, but we hate you, and they just break into your house and they hold you hostage. Like that could just happen, and that's so much freakier to me. That's why like when I sleep with my door closed. When I like go to the bathroom, I lock the door. When I shower, I lock the door. Like I do this reflexively because I'm just so irrationally afraid of somebody like entering my space when I'm vulnerable. And like if you ever like, if I went on like a slideshow of showing off people like how I lay out my rooms in my house and stuff like that, or like in past apartments, or even as a child, my bed, my chairs always have their back turned away from the egress to the room. I will never have my back to the door. That is never going to happen. I need to be able to see the big bad monster that's bumping and going to come through the doorway. Like, you're not going to catch me off guard because you're behind me. Like, even right now, my office, I'm facing the wall with both doors. Like, both the closet and the other door. I thought about placing it behind me because it would probably fit in the room a little bit better. But I'm like, nope. Then I can't watch the serial killer run into my room. So
then I can't watch the ooga booga.
Yeah, I need to see the Ooga Booga. I'm still probably gonna die, but I know it happened.
But I know it happened.
I know it happened. I had the chance of doing something about it, and I didn't. But at least I did. And that's like,
I saw it.
yeah, at least I saw it coming, you know. And that's the biggest thing, because I'm the big afraid of the unknown. That's my thing. The unknown is scary.
Mm-hmm.
So not knowing that someone's standing in the door behind me, like referencing Hereditary again. Homie on the bed.
No, I don't know.
Homie on the bed. Mama on the ceiling. That shit. No. That was the whole scene. I was just like, what is she gonna do? What is she gonna do? It's like I can't do the unknown things behind you, home invasion, volatility of that scenario. That is my no. But also at the same time, please make movies like that. Please make games like that, because it's one of the few times that I can be scared. You know, anything else I just kind of joke about, or maybe I jump a little bit and then I'm like, okay, anyway, back in it. You know, so like that's the kind of media that I want to see more of in horror, is like stuff that's tangible, stuff that's real. Like
It'd be
Hush.
nice to see them explore more thriller style horror games.
Like Hush. That deaf woman in her house, home invasion, killer dude. Like that's a simple formula there, and it's so much scarier than my house is haunted, and it's like, well, I can't tangibly do anything about this. Like at that point, I'm just like, I'm either moving, I'm sorry, like I'm moving, I'm leaving, or like I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Yeah, we're gonna make friends. I'm gonna like start making some ghost tea or something like that. I don't know. Gonna start making offerings to them or something.
I'm gonna order pizza. You're gonna answer the door, and then we get free pizza.
Yep. There you go. There you go.
I don't call the Exorcist.
Yep.
And we just vibing.
You freak out all the delivery people. We get free stuff, and it's a good time, you know. And then you can watch. You can choose what we watch on TV. You know, whatever we watch on for the movie or whatever you choose. You want to watch something spooky? I got you. You want to watch something funny? I got you. Just give me that free pizza. I would totally do that.
That's a good deal. That's a great deal. I'm down with that.
Ghost
buddy, where you at? Where you at?
Where you at? I mean, I had a ghost buddy, but I feel like that's an episode in itself. Is me just talking about my ghost stories. I talked about that in a Discord community night the other day, and I just started telling ghost stories, and people were just like, "You just haunted." I'm like, "I guess I am," but I feel like that's like a full episode in its own right.
It's you.
I mean, it happened at 2 separate locations, so I mean, or actually, technically 7 different locations, but 2 houses, 2 of my houses. But we'll see. If it starts happening here too, then yeah, I'm definitely haunted. Yeah, I think it was a majority of what I actually had on the itinerary for today. Besides, I guess, is there anything? So like anything that doesn't exist currently? Like, is there anything that either hasn't had a iteration in a while or hasn't been explored in horror that you personally think that you'd like to see in more recent media?
I think when it comes to stuff like that, there's such a broad scope being explored. I just want to see more diversity in like the type of spirits they pull out, the type of entities they pull out. Because yeah, cool, we got a demon, we got a yokai, we got a freaking oni, we got a hantu, a few other things. There's always the whatever the grudge is. I can't ever remember what.
An Onryo.
We have an Onryo, very popular one. But we don't ever get like some of the more like unknown kind of things. And I would love to see more cryptid stuff.
Yes.
To be honest, like we do not have a lot of cryptid stuff. Like, give me a Mothman centric horror game.
Yep.
Give me a Flatwoods Monster centric horror game. Give me like a Jersey Devil. Give me some Chupacabra stuff. Give me something that is of a creature that we don't see that option. Go back to making some niche creepypasta games like The Rake and stuff like that about entities that are not overused. I want to see new concepts. You can still do the same bullshit horror tropes that every game does, but just do it with a different creature. That's one thing that I loved when like indie horror games really popped off is with Slender. And people started doing like the Hat Man, like the Candle games, like all these different creepypastas that were fantastic.
The flourishing of all the SCP titles and all the different entities that are in that.
Exactly. And stuff like that, I feel like entity-based stuff, it's like everyone can be like, oh, we got the back room. Cool. Great. They're very overdone.
Yeah.
The backroom games are turning into, in my opinion, slop. There's some really good ones, but there's a lot of backroom slop out there.
Yeah, a lot of them are just walking sims too. Like nothing happens.
I like the original one, like the complex found footage.
Yes.
That one's good. Because it's very liminal horror. Liminal horror is a beautiful type of horror. And definitely the definition of that slow burn. Because when you come to the end of the complex found footage, you are terrified.
Yep.
You are unnerved.
Right.
But I would love to see more stuff like that. I would love to see more like made up entities. Or give me another game about the Crooked Man.
Yeah.
Like a well done one. Give me something like I used to write stories. I like writing horror stories about the origins of different like monsters. Give me a horror game based on Pumpkin Jack. Like Sam Hain. Give me something like that.
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
I think that would have more tangible grounding in reality because people are familiar with this stuff and it would be more scary. I think that's what I'm missing the most in horror right now is variety. Just, oh my God, we got a ghost in the basement, in the schoolhouse, in the fucking basketball net.
In the hospital, in the abandoned asylum.
I don't care. Give me, like, I'll even take, like, more, like, government experiment kind of like zombie or, like, some type of mutation.
Overlord.
Overlord. Just
have
like.
Have you seen that one? Yeah, that's I think that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Stuff that's not the same. Oh, we have this ghost. We have this spirit. We have a poltergeist. That bitch is possessed over there. There's an Onryo in your TV. There's a yokai flickering the lights. There's a demon making cupcakes in the kitchen. Give me something new.
Yeah. I think that my initial thing was gonna say I want more actually like just alien stuff, but not like, you know, I don't want you to flat out explain to me. Just make it confusing and weird. Like it doesn't have to be like a flat out just like, hey guys, I heard that there's alien sightings in this area, and they go, what? No way, and then like they get probed or something. Like it needs to be like.
There are a few on my list actually that are alien games. I'll send you.
Yeah. Like that. I feel like that's like a in mass that's kind of fallen off. I feel like that was a big like, late '90s, early 2000s kind of fad of everything being like, you know, super alien, what if scenarios.
Years back we had that itch.io game Cardosis.
Yeah.
That got like it's still like the dude. It's one dude developing it, and it's a beautiful game. It looks fantastic. He's only done like the first chapter. I'm really hoping that game gets finished. Yeah. I'm really hoping it does, because something like that is definitely what we need, like more on like the ghost, like extraterrestrial kind of something different.
I also wouldn't mind like in the realm of like referencing like cryptids and SCP like things, movies that are driven by like objects with weird abstract things happening that don't have to be that it's like haunted. It's not that it's someone died and now the object is cursed and now you're cursed. Like it can be something like SCP has a pair of it has a gas mask that you put on and then it puts you in another world when you're wearing the gas mask. Like things like that kind of create a scenario in which you explore something or explore an abstract topic that can be like inherently terrifying because there's no understanding of it. Instead of it just having to be like cursed object, something is trying to kill you now that you put on the object. Like you can make it scary. You can even make horror without there actually being a central antagonist. You don't need something that goes bump in the dark to be hunting down the protagonist for it to be unnerving. Like it can literally just be someone experiencing something strange that seems scary because you don't understand it, and because they're not elaborating on that, it is still scary. And I would love to see more things in that light. And I think exploring things like that, like if someone wants to make a franchise, make like a SCP based franchise where people are experiencing different weird occurrences from different objects or entities that doesn't necessarily have to be, um, for better lack of the word, coherent, I guess. Like it can just be that weird, that intangible, that almost like eldritch origin that just there is no explanation. It just is. I think that'd be really nice to see in a lot more media. And of course, games explore SCP concepts and anomalies and all that stuff a lot, but I'd love to see it more in like movies or anime and stuff like that. And that's why, like, you know, a recent breath of fresh air, even though I've read the manga or am reading whatever, Dandadan is a refreshing like series to come out with an anime recently. Because that series is just built on the idea of weird shit happening, and these kids are just kind of like, oh, so wait, aliens are real? Oh wait, so yokai are real?
Everything's real?
Like wait, everything, all this like conspiracy shit's real, but like even then it's still so over the top and so circumstantial that like the difference between that alien versus this alien means very different things. And that's like such a fun topic that I wish was explored more in other forms of media. Like even just imagine like an anthology like Black Mirror, but instead it's just like SCP. Like every single
That'd be
episode
so
is just
fun.
some weird
That'd be
thing
so
that's
good.
happening. That'd be so fun. It'd be like, you know, it would take the strongest points of Black Mirror and oh my god, how am I forgetting the oldest one of them all? Twilight Zone?
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, Twilight Zone, Doctor Who, and taking all of those like best like kind of quirky qualities of them and just being like, well, what if this quirkiness, and what if this kind of unease, this thriller, this horror, was in
Because it
fact.
doesn't need to be scary. It just needs to be weird. There are so many SCPs that are unnerving but not inherently scary or threatening. They're just absolutely unnerving.
Yeah.
And
Like-
they will cause you no harm whatsoever.
And even if they do cause you harm, it could be in an unconventional way, like the birthday monkey that ages you a year every time it says happy birthday. Like that kind of stuff is like such an interesting thing that I wish people would go more into. And I feel like in some cases, some people might have already like tried to, but it never gets any traction, especially because like if they explored SCPs directly, that's such an intertangled web of different authors and developers and stuff creating those things that someone's going to strike you down with a copyright or do some kind of thing, and it's just like it's such a weird territory to go into. But like you could take inspiration from it and do your own thing with it. I mean, the birthday monkey thing kind of exists within Stephen King's universe with that latest movie, The Monkey, that came out. Like that's a good example of it, where it's like the monkey plays its song and then you just fucking die.
I think Stephen King is a great actual example of just making the weirdest shit unnerving. Like I think the first book I ever read from him was called The Longest Walk. It's actually finally getting a movie adaptation.
Yep, I heard about that.
But it's literally just you walk down a road, and if you fall behind, you die. That's the entire premise. There's no monsters. There's no nothing. If you fall behind in that road, you pretty much just get shot. That's the whole like, but the journey and like everything that happens under it's of like, oh, this is terrifying. This is absolutely god awful, and I hate this.
It's Stephen King's a good example. Poe is a good example of doing weird stuff. I mean, the father of, you know, a lot of horror tropes and abstract ideas. All the Lovecraft stuff, you know, are all really
You
cool,
read The
weird
King in
things.
Yellow?
They were the what?
The King in Yellow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have. Was that like a vibe check? It's like, you better have read this or else I'm going to tell you to read it right now.
Because The King in Yellow inspired everyone we read today. Like, it inspired H.P. Lovecraft. You found their works in his cabin. Like, that is one of the original short story horror compilations. And I know that a lot of people like have this like, oh, it's cursed. It's a scary thing. It's a great read if you haven't done it.
I'm trying to think. There was a recent movie that also mentioned the King in Yellow. I don't remember what movie it was though.
I know there's a game that just came out that I still need to play called the Chorus of Carcosa. And that is supposedly inspired by the King Yellow, so I have that.
Yes.
I'm very excited to play.
I think yeah, Carcosa is the one I'm thinking of. It wasn't even a freaking I'm looking at it right now. Wait a minute. Was it this game that I'm thinking of? Yes, that's what I was thinking of. It wasn't a movie, it was this game. Yes.
So I'm excited to play that. I'm very excited to see how that one goes.
That was a pretty fun one. I see you actually already own it, so you're already on top of that.
I own way too many. I don't check my library.
All right, time to go. All right, the rest of this podcast, guys, we're going to go through Ciaran's library of horror games and find which ones have 0 playtime in them.
A lot.
But like, yeah, that's. I need more weird. I need more weird. I need more abstract. I need more eldritch. I need more. I don't want to know.
Eldritch is getting like more stuff to it in recent years, which I love.
Yeah,
Give me something that makes me think.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. Make me wonder. Make me curious. Make me come up with my own scenarios. Make me think about what goes bump in the night. Make me think about what's behind me.
Yeah, give me a plot line that is cohesive and it has a resolution within its own story, but the actual threat or the actual premise behind it is something that's still not fully explored, because I want to have my own mind and just sit there and be like, damn, what did happen? What happened in this movie? Like, is this thing still out there? Is whatever. Like, I need that like the inquiry. I don't need to know that the entity was Jimmy Bob III, who died in 1933 because of some lynching, and then his soul lingered, and then someone had the thing and they dealt with him and they exorcised his ghost, but then it latched to an item and then it got passed down through a family and now it's resurfaced. Just be something unheard of, be something unseen, and just let me dwell in my imagination and fear my own imagination.
Just go the Scott Cawthon route and hide a bunch of random things in your game, and everyone's just going to speculate about it. Even if it means nothing.
Everyone cracks out. Nothing. You see in that back of the night one, there's a poster on the wall, and the poster on the wall isn't there in the subsequent ones. And when you look at the poster and you zoom in and you turn on night vision, it like that's literally FNAF fans in a nutshell. And it's fun.
You take a black light and you see all the stains.
Yeah, you see all the stains, but if you follow the stain directly up, it points out that there's actually a monitor up in the corner. And when you look at the monitor, for every third second, it flashes this image. And that's basically like every single time a FNAF game comes out, it's basically that. But like at the same time, it's so fun. It's so fun to hear what people have to say. It's cool ideas, and it's even better when the original creators just kind of shrug and go, I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not going to confirm nor deny this, because maybe either A, they don't know, they didn't plan that far ahead, or B, they like that obscurity and the fact that people are speculating and doing that. And I think that's again, I'll tangent back to what I said before. The unknown is the scariest thing, to me at least. You know, if I know what's about to fucking do something to me, I can plan it for it, or I can die to it, and that's just about it. But if there's always that chance that trying to understand something, it's so much scarier. It's so much scarier.
Oh yeah. And theory crafting and thinking about the different things that are going on, or what could go on, is just, it takes you down a rabbit hole that can be scarier than the experience. I feel like everyone likes to wrap things up and put this bow on it. But honestly, if you just leave something to linger in someone's mind, it's so much worse.
It also leaves the door open for future projects too, because a lot of the big issue with a lot of franchises is they do wrap it up nicely, but then they have to unwrap it to make the next movie. So it's like, oh, okay, we killed Jason, everyone. Jason's dead. The mom's like passed on. Like everything's fine. Okay, but like we're gonna make another movie. So why is Jason back? Well, because he comes from hell. It's like, come on, man. It's like it's like I hate that they have to do that. Leave it open ended. You also don't even have to do the like cheeky little like the hand comes out of the ground ending or something like that to be like, ooh, are they still alive? Like, don't do that. Just literally just wrap it up, you don't know what happened, and then just, if something happens in the future with the property, you can kind of go with the wind with that. But it's like the unknown and the open-ended is really good. Yes, people get mad at it. I do see people who get mad and go, what? But that ending's not concrete, I don't like it. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. You don't have an imagination to infer or create your own ending.
I hate is when the motherfucker wakes up or snaps out of something or is shown in a psych ward. Those are the ones those are the only ones I hate. It's a cop out. It is a cop out. You want to talk about like Resident Evil 3 things? The whole like, oh, I just woke up, it's all a dream. That is the biggest cop out and the thing that pisses me off the most in horror.
That's fair. I also hate when it's just milked. It's an unbelievable premise in its own, but then it's like milked through either the thing coming back over and over and over again, or like an inherited plot. So like Saw, for instance, right? Saw very quickly stops being about Jigsaw, but then you got a copycat, or you got his protege, or you got a failed protege, or you got a detective who ends up becoming the next Jigsaw, and it's like, and I'm like, where are these people getting this endless amount of money to make these death traps, rent these areas, and do it so discreetly that nobody knows it exists? It's already very hard to think that Jigsaw himself got away with so much of it, to then be like, yeah, so 27 other people are gonna have a little puppet that rolls around with a fucking mask, and it's just and get away with the same stuff, but somehow get more elaborate than Jigsaw. Like, do we forget the first fucking movie was literally just in one dilapidated bathroom for the entirety of the movie, basically? And then we're gonna escalate it to weird laser technology and stuff. It's like, ugh.
I will always say there's no Saw movie in my opinion past 3.
Yeah.
I know some people really liked 4, and I'm like, I get it. I don't think there's a Saw movie past 3. They could have ended it at the first one. The second one, I think, is my favorite. I really like the second one and the way they laid everything out. The third one was, I thought, the wrap. I thought it ended. I thought it was done, and it made sense to me. They did not need any more.
I was gonna say, like, the first one I think is very much like, it came off like a pilot almost. Like it built what the second one could be, and then the second one really ran with it and made it to its fullest extent, and then the third one just kind of wrapped it up, and then it was just like, but like, what if we make 12 of these or however many there is?
It just became more about how grotesque can we make these traps, instead of like, oh, these people need to pay the price for what they're doing, and there's like a clear narrative as doing this and what he wants to do. It just became about of like, how many needles can we shove up this dude's ass today?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Like,
yeah,
Final Destination started doing that too after 3. Like, I think 2, everyone I think thinks 2 is peak Final Destination. Then 3 with the roller coaster's good. 4, I was literally talking to someone about this the other day. Do you remember that 4 starts off with the mall being destroyed?
Now that you mention it, maybe?
The only reason I remember it is because the girl with the escalator in the very beginning of the movie, that it starts with like the mall falling apart.
Now I gotta like Google this. Like, wait a minute.
Or was that 5? Because I know
Final Destination.
See, like 4. You don't remember, like, it's the plane, it's the car accident, and it's the roller coaster. Do you remember the beginning for the rest of them?
the screenshots I'm immediately seeing of 4 looks like they're in some kind of arena. So I think that's the one with the cars. I think that's them watching NASCAR. Yeah.
And it might have been that one. See, I got it wrong even.
Wait, what? Okay, what is 5 scenario? This looks like a bridge.
A bridge collapse, I'm guessing. So yeah, it was 4 that I'm thinking about. I thought it was in a mall, but no, it was watching NASCAR.
Yeah.
That's when you know there's nothing past the third one.
Yeah. Yeah, 5's a bridge collapsing, yeah. I still haven't seen the new one, Bloodlines, yet. I still gotta watch that one.
I've heard it's actually not bad. I'm skeptical.
I have heard it's decent. It's a passing Final Destination movie.
Yeah, I mean that's a kind of a low
That's
bar though.
I mean,
It's a very
sometimes
low
horror
bar.
be like that, you know. Sometimes I watch stuff just to be like, how bad could this be? And then I walk out of there being like, damn, that's worse than I thought.
It's
You know,
terrible.
I have
Why is
a
this
weekly
thing?
movie night with one of my good friends, and sometimes we watch a movie and we're all just like, wow, that's crazy good. Other times we watch a movie and you know it's like, I'm sorry. Like I remember there was one movie where we both apologized to each other for wasting each other's time. That's basically how it ended.
Insert sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it was one of those movies that like it had the best premise. It had like such a good lineup. It could do so good. It could easily be one of my favorites in modern horror. And then it was like, but what if we just try to go so abstract and so over the top halfway through this movie that that initial setup means nothing anymore. And then
That's
and so then we both just sat there kind of just leaning on our hands, just watching the remainder of the movie like, okay, so we're doing this now, huh? Like
I have a good one. I have a good horror movie for you if you haven't seen it. Have you seen It Follows?
the SCD one?
I think so.
I think that's the
Yes.
SCD one. Yes, I've seen that one.
Okay, because that's just a horrendous freaking concept.
Yeah. Yeah, that is that one had an interesting concept for sure. And it's very grounded despite being supernaturally, but that was a fun watch. I might need to rewatch it though because I don't think I remember it as vividly as I think I do. I just remember a scene with creepy dude standing in the doorway behind a girl is the immediately thing that comes to my head. But
I don't think we're thinking of the same movie. I gotta find it and I'll send it to you because pretty much the whole premise of this movie is there's just one ever-changing entity that just follows this group. They're not allowed to stop. They're not allowed to stop moving, otherwise it will catch up. It's pretty much that whole question of like, you get $1 million, but there's a snail going towards your location at any point, and if it touches you, it will kill you. It's pretty much that, just as a horror movie.
I think it is the same movie.
Maybe I need to rewatch
is the cover art for it a yellow car in the dark?
Actually, I think it is, yeah.
Then yeah, we're talking about the same movie. I don't know if the premise was actually that it was about STDs, but it was based on STDs at the very least. I remember that being a talking point. Yeah. After carefree teen J sleeps with her new boyfriend Yu for the first time, she learns that she is the latest recipient of a fatal curse that has passed from victim to victim via sexual intercourse. Death, Jay learns, will creep inexorably towards her as either a friend or stranger. Jay's friends don't believe her seemingly paranoid ravings until they too begin to see the phantom assassin and band together to help her flee or defend herself. So, yes, I think we're both talking about the same thing and describing it in two very different ways.
I gotta look this up.
I think we both need to watch it at this point again.
I think we do because I think I'm thinking of a different movie, but I think I'm naming it wrong.
Because they do run away from it in this. They do try to get away from it, but it keeps following, and I think it like continues to look like different throughout the movie too.
It might be, and I just forgot it was about STDs.
Yeah, it started because of a sexually transmitted curse, is what it was.
Okay, that's definitely a concept.
Yes.
Sexually transmitted curse. Love it.
Yes, which I mean,
wear protection, everybody.
yeah, wear protection. It's not all about get pregnant. It's also about
getting cursed.
It's about death curses. So yeah, you know. I think we need to just like plan a fucking movie night at this point to rewatch this movie because both of us have very different memories of the same movie.
Well, that's another thing about horror is like certain things remain in people's minds in different ways.
Mm.
And I think that's what makes like a good horror concept like a good idea. Because if you're remembering it like that, I'm remembering it something different. Because I'm only remembering like the creepy parts where the motherfucker can't stop moving.
Yeah, and
I'm just gonna die.
And I'm
STDs.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the origin, like what the unique, because that's what stuck with me. Because whether it's weird or stupid or whatever, it is not something I've ever seen before. So that's why I think it sticks with me with that. And anytime I hear It Follows, I'm just like STDs, because I'm just like, what's the other STD horror movie out there? I can't think of it. You know,
there was what is that? It's a D-rated horror movie on Netflix called The Possession or something.
No.
It's terrible. I don't remember what it was called, but it was god awful. I sadly watched it one day. She got like cursed from doing things, and it was just terribly done.
Okay, well, it's not The Possession, but The Possession immediately came up with a movie that has Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it, and I'm kind of intrigued because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
You know what? Valid. No, I had this point where I was just like watching horror movies on Netflix just in the background, and majority of them are shit. Like majority of them are just like, yeah, we decided to make this because why not?
Because we could.
So I've seen a lot of really weird, like, what the hell am I even watching kind of movies. But there was another one. I definitely say that. I don't remember what it was called because...
Why would you?
Was it called Why would I want to?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to rewatch that. Oh, yeah, top 10 movies. This one, no. Absolutely not. I remember The Taking of Deborah Logan because that was a good possession movie. Yes,
that was also got one of the most clippable endings too.
Yep.
Have you oh my god, this became a whole other discussion when I was wrapping up, but I have to ask, have you watched Talk to Me or Bring Her Back?
I've seen Talk to Me. I haven't seen Bring Her Back.
It's made by the same duo, the same brothers.
Okay. It's the Wayans brothers, right?
The Filippo.
Oh no, yeah. Oh yeah.
Filippo brothers, the Australians. The premise for that movie is really cool. It's really unique and it's an incredibly bleak movie. And I already want to rewatch it again, and I've already seen it 3 times. And it's been out for barely any time.
I was about to say, if it's a newer movie, I have not watched a lot of.
Yeah, it came out in May, I think. End of May. End of May.
Definitely nothing from this year. I've not seen any horror movies from.
Its whole premise is literally grieving mother tries to bring back her daughter, but like it's told in a way that's constructed around the process of grief rather than just being like boo ghost possessions. Like it's like it's just very slow burn, very unnerving. Like anyone who seems to say that they don't like the movie just says that it's like slow, because a lot of it is just like a lot of it is talking and then really kind of unnerving dialogue. But it's interesting because it's coming from a perspective of every single character in it is grieving, and they're all going about it in their own different way of grieving. It just so happens that one of them is trying to bring back their dead daughter. And so it's kind of interesting because you do get like a possession-y kind of demonic-y kind of vibe to it, but then at the same time it's just kind of a drama about dealing with grief. And like it's such an interesting movie and it's filmed so beautifully. There's a lot of symbolism, a lot of making you scared of the shape of a circle, things like that is really, really fun. And then it just ends and you just are like, I don't know how to feel about this movie. Like, not that you don't like it or do like it, but like, you don't know how to walk away from it. And it's kind of cool because the sensation I related to is almost like grief. It's like you walk away from the movie and you're kind of like processing and having to deal with everything you just witnessed. And you're going through these stages of kind of rationalizing everything that happened in the movie. And it's such a fascinating way that it's done that it made me have to actually kind of like go through a weird movie grief in a way to try to understand, empathize with everything that's going on, and kind of, I guess, accept the consequences of the movie in a weird way. I don't know how to word that better without you seeing it. But like it's a very interesting watch. I definitely recommend it. And if you like to Talk to Me, I honestly think it's better than Talk to Me, at least in the narrative standpoint. But I think the scares
Okay.
are better in Talk to Me because Talk to Me is a little bit more in your face with it. This is more of a just kind of like you're uncomfortable the entire movie. It's one of those movies where just everybody just makes you uncomfortable. Um, so it's definitely a good watch if you end up just having a free 2 hours
Okay.
of a day somewhere and you're just like, fuck it. I see it on a streaming service. I don't know what it's on, but it's here. Let's watch it. I know it's on Shutter. I don't know if it's on anything else, but
That exactly like right there goes into what we were talking about with like appreciating horror as an art
mhm, mhm,
and seeing how people can transform. Like grieving is a complex process that everyone experiences differently.
mhm,
And trying to show that and making that the basis around a horror movie is fantastic because that goes together and it blends well. But you have all these different narratives to tell, you have all these different characters to portray, and that again goes to like pushing horror in a new direction that we get to see where it goes. So I
right.
definitely need to watch that movie.
Yeah. And I mean, thinking about it now in hindsight, that is kind of their MO because I mean, even Talk to Me is about grief. It's literally about
Mhm.
a girl who's, struggling over the death of her own mother and clinging to this cursed object as a way to potentially speak to her mother again. Like that's like they're really good at capturing this primal feeling that we all unfortunately will eventually experience of grieving over something or someone. Um
Yeah.
and it's such a complex emotion, but doing it in a way that's in a horror setting is kind of so interesting, and that it's not just like I'm grieving so I'm going to just start killing people now or something. Like it's like it's such an interesting idea. You have kids that you basically Talk to Me is a giant analogy for substance abuse. It's like it's very much like the main character can't get enough of this drug, which is the hand, right? You can make that
Mhm.
parallel to alcoholism or any other type of substance. In Bring Her Back, I think it's more the process of grief. It's less of the Talk to Me as her trying to rationalize and drown out her issues by trying to make this connection with this item, where Bring Her Back is just you're watching a car crash that is coming from a mile away, but it's a process that all the characters are going through. You just gotta watch. You just gotta watch
you,
as
you
it
just
happens.
gotta watch.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh, I think I one more movie. One more movie. I have to bring up one more. So I think I I remember this movie on and off as like a movie that really got me started into horror. And at the very beginning, I always forget about it, and then I always remember it when I start talking about scary
Mm.
stuff. It takes a while sometimes. A movie that really goes into that psychological kind of horror is a movie called Funny Games.
But what?
Funny Games.
Funny games?
Mm-hmm. And that movie is very much the way it ends, the way it starts, the way things progress. The definition of just slow build madness and a continuation. It's like a constant ebb and flow of just like what is going on. I'm like, there's no base in supernatural. It's all something that could happen. And it is horrifying. But the psychology behind it and how it was told and portrayed always stuck with me. And I think it's just as like one of my favorite kind of movies in the genre of like more of that psychological thriller kind of forte.
Oh, I looked it up. I'm like, I think I've seen this, but I don't remember anything about it. 'Cause
It's a good one.
the imagery looks familiar, but I couldn't tell you anything about this movie.
It's from what? It's from 07,
It's
06,
2007,
sometime around
yeah.
there. Yeah, it's an old one.
think-
Great cast, very well done. I think you might actually like that one quite a bit.
Also a remake.
Hmm.
Maybe I saw the original. That's why it's also not clicking.
Yeah, I went back and watched the original. I still think this one.
Yes.
You've seen the original?
I've seen the original. I didn't see the remake. Yeah, these characters look more, this cast looks more familiar.
Yeah, I would definitely say if you haven't seen the remake to give it a watch. It is definitely that kind of messes with you in a way that, oh, this could happen and I hate it kind of concept.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't fully remember this, and apparently the remake is shot for shot. So me watching it would basically be me also rewatching the original because it's just, satirical psychological thriller. Yes. I mean, that makes me think of reading satirical psychological thriller makes me think of The Heathers.
I don't think I've seen that one.
That's a good one. That's an old one. If you know the movie Mean Girls, it's the inspiration for Mean Girls.
Okay, I need to see that then.
Yeah, it's literally an 80s film that is literally basically the premise of Mean Girls, more or less, except it's an actual like black comedy. And so there's death, there's murder, there's suicide, there's all that stuff in it. It's like a very dark kind of thrillery film, but it's literally like almost exactly the plot line for Mean Girls.
Okay, I definitely need to look that one up.
Yeah. It is. It's a good one. Yeah, the Heathers. That's why one of my favorite films to watch. And anytime someone goes, "Oh my god, I love Mean Girls," I'm like, "Have you seen the Heathers?" And then they go,
"Have you seen
"No,
the original one?"
Yeah, I'm like, "Let me show you this." I'm like, "Because you're not gonna believe that this happy, goofy, high school, comedy like drama stems from a black comedy that is literally about murder. Like, you would not guess this." But it's also funny and it's very interesting, and the cast is amazing, and it is a film that sticks with me. It also has a lot of tie-ins to the same stylization as Breakfast Club and stuff like that. So it's a really really good watch.
Okay. I definitely need to do that.
Yes, but you need to see The Heathers and you need to see Bring Her Back.
And you need to watch Funny Games.
And I need to watch Funny Games. That's our homework between now and when we inevitably make an episode resurfacing this information.
We have gone completely off the rails talking about just stuff we love. As you can see, we very much have a love for the horror genre, just in general, as a medium, as an art form, which is why we decided to do this. Yes, and we both have a PhD in Yap no Jutsu, so both of us on our own can nonstop talk about something for a very long period of time. But two of us in the same room sharing a similar passion, it's expect a lot of the episodes to probably start coherently, and then they're probably going to derail a bit. I will try my best to keep them at least on topic. But since this episode's just about our love for horror and our introduction to horror, our opinions on horror and stuff like that, I think it's fine. It's kind of been all over the place. You kind of see where we how we think about things, what we like, what we don't. Yeah, and you can our experiences with the genre. Yeah, and you can kind of track that record and those statements throughout future episodes and see kind of where we stand. And by that point, more games, more movies, more things will come out, and maybe there'll be more introductions to the conversation going forward. The next episode will actually be specifically honed in on slashers. So how we spoke earlier on stuff like Friday the 13th and Halloween and stuff like that, it'll be more honed in on that and more focused on that. So I think it'll be really interesting. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot that we could talk to. We didn't even talk about really any modern slashers outside of like my brief mentioning of Hush. So I think it'll be really interesting to kind of think about it more, look more into the franchise, and even discuss things like the evolutions of those franchises could be really fun. I mean, if you look at Halloween, it's very different from point A to where we are now. With it's just really sad that Nightmare on Elm Street ended so long ago and never got a. I mean, that's the same with like even Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th's last movie was like 2006 or something like that, 2007. Wasn't Jason X the last one? I think it was Jason X, yeah. Jason X was funny. I love Jason X. It's so bad. Yes. What if we just cryogenically have him? That's the one where he's cryogenically frozen, right? Mm-hmm. And then they unfreeze him because that's a good idea.
Yeah, you find a mysterious individual on a ship somewhere, and you're just like, yeah, let's unthaw him out. Nah, man, that dude's wearing a hockey mask. I don't know. That looks crazy to me, but it's like it's whatever. But yeah, we'll
Throw him
talk
into
more
the
in depth.
sun.
What?
Throw him into the sun.
Yeah, just literally just launch the entire thing into the sun. I don't care who this is. No one knows who they are. There's no record of it. Just launch him. But yeah, we'll talk more about horror and stuff like that. I'm still working on the kind of flow chart for that one, and we'll talk about that as we go, because there's a lot. And even approaching games, there's a lot of games too that approach different things. Like you can even talk about, you know, some aspects of certain games, like even Outlast and stuff like that has avenues of slashers and stuff like that innately in it, as well as the supernatural or sci-fi in it as well, which is really interesting. But I really appreciate Ciaran for being here, and I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'm excited for the remaining 5 episodes of the season because I think they're going to be really fun. They're all mapped out. I know Ciaran is probably super excited for one particular one, given they said their favorite genre in modern horror. So that's going to be a fun episode as well to go over, and I'm probably going to have some contrasting opinions on that one.
I like stupid, cute things die, okay?
You know, I mean, that is perfectly fair and valid.
You see me?
I mean, you want to die? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't need to be psychoanalyzed on the podcast.
Oh, jeez, we're going here. All right, so now this is a therapy session. My God, we're gonna have to have a conversation after this. We're gonna have to be like, "Oh, okay, well, were you okay, buddy?" After this.
Don't fight.
But if you guys want, I would love to see what your guys' horror origin stories are. What was the things that molded you into the idea of horror? How do you handle horror? You know, do you scream like Ciaran, or are you apathetic like I am? Do you look for the thrills in horror like I do? You know, or you know, you there for more of the narrative draw and the uniqueness of it all. You know, there's a lot of reasons to be encapsulated in the media, and I think that's something that's so interesting. I think it's pretty easy to just be like, oh, I'm into comedy. Yeah, you just want to laugh, right? But like horror, there's so many reasons why you could be into horror, and there's so many different things that might bother you or not bother you. So if you have anything you'd like to share in regards to that, you could feel free to go there. You can also check out Ciaran. I'll have their information posted down below of every single episode, as well as my own. You can reach us wherever you want to go to. If you want to contact us, join our communities, whatever. Ciaran's been pumping out a metric fuck ton of horror let's plays and stuff like that over on their YouTube channel as well. They play a mix of things on their stream, but they've been cranking out horror like crazy over on YouTube. So if you guys want to see let's plays, they're probably more reliable than me right now, because I can't even remember the last time I played an actual horror game on stream or in YouTube. Outside of like
to Peak.
I've been on Peak. I have been on that train. I have been on Dark Tide, and I've still been playing Hunt Showdown like an addict. The closest to anything horror related I played recently. No, it will not. Hunt is my psychological STD. That's my it follows right there. It's Hunt Showdown. Oh my God. But the last horror game I played was yes, I fall asleep to that. That's how I snore. That's the cycle of my snores. But yeah, the last thing I played was probably like Outlast Trials, and I don't know if I count that as the most horrific thing on the planet. It's just anxiety. The game's just anxiety.
I think Trial. I can't start. Nope. We're not starting another conversation.
This is about to be a whole thing.
No.
Which we actually could probably talk about more tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next recording session with the slashers. But I thank you guys again, as always, or as a beginning. Thank you. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye bye.
So fucking cute.